Welcome to this installation of the Vantage Equinox interface video series. Today we're covering the Pool and Spa widget. This widget provides a window into the control points provided by a pool and spa controller. Today there is exactly one supported controller, the Jandy Aqualink RS. So let's dive into the interface. At the dashboard level, we can see and modify a variety of control points associated with one pool or spa, whichever you select as your primary. The icon of an upright sitting figure represents a spa. Later we'll see the icon of a swimmer, which in contrast represents that body of water as a pool. The name of that body of water is found at the very bottom of the display. Here we see hot tub. Now the most dominant information that we see on this screen is the water temperature of the pool or the spa. Right below that number is a timestamp when that value was last reported. Following that, we may see the air temperature. Now this is optional, and we'll show you later on whether to make this, how to make this display or not to, depending on your preference. The next line has as many as 4 on-off controls, beginning always with the pump, and then the first 3 of the auxiliary controls that have been associated with this pool or spa. If each control is off, it shows in white, and if it is on, in ochre. Tap any control and it will change its state. Now, as you just saw, most of these are instantaneous and they will actually operate instantaneously, but the pump, even though it may indicate instantaneous operation, relies on the controller, which may introduce some appropriate delays based on current conditions before engaging the pump. Now finally, the last line, we see the heat control set point. Its current value will always display, and optionally we will see the plus and minus raised lower buttons. These are optional, and again we'll show you later how to make those display or how to hide them. When we tap the discovery dots at the top right of this widget, we're immersed in the second level, or full screen mode. Now there may be multiple pools and or spas within your system, and the first to display will be the last one that we selected. We can choose to see either one. Now what we see here includes what we saw at the dashboard level, but there are other things as well. On the left-hand side, we see pretty much what we saw at the dashboard, with the exception that some of our controls have been moved over to the right-hand side. And now, instead of just seeing 3, we can see all of the auxiliaries that are included with this. Now, one of the things that we see here is that in addition to the pump, we also see a heater icon. That's the heating element. And if we have the pump off, we don't have any control of that. It's dimmed out, indicating that we cannot turn the heat on. So if I turn it back on, I now have control to turn the heater on and off. When it is on, just like a thermostat, now this set point will be implemented as the deciding factor as to whether to run the heat or not. And when it is off, that set point value will be ignored. And again, as we look at all of these over here, we will control these auxiliaries just the same as we did at the dashboard level. We can see here the figure of a swimmer, representing that this is a pool body of water, and here we have different auxiliaries that have been associated with the pool. From the full screen mode, we can plunge into the edit mode by tapping the 3-line icon towards the top right of the screen. In the edit mode, we're presented with 3 options. The first option, labeled Pools and Spas, allows us to select which of the bodies of water will be viewable within this particular profile, as well as their order. Of those that are selected for viewing, we can change the order in which they are displayed by dragging and dropping. And as usual, the first in the list is considered the primary for this profile and will be the one displayed at the dashboard level. The second option, labeled Auxiliaries, allows us to select from all available auxiliaries on a controller that we want to have displayed with each particular body of water. For instance, here we have the hot tub with 4 of the auxiliaries associated with it. If we wanted to add one, we click on the plus, we select the one that we want to view when we're looking at the hot tub, and we add that in. Now, the order that these are presented within the widget depends on the order that we create them here. Now, if, for example, I wanted to change the order of these, there's no way to drag and drop these, but what we can do is we can change what each position is. For example, here, if I wanted the landscape to be shown at the dashboard level, it has to be one of the first three. So I'm going to decide that instead of the air mister here, I'm going to show the landscape. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the landscape, and I am going to remove that. And then I'm going to go click on the mister, and you can see here now that I can select all of the auxiliaries that have not yet been associated with the pool. The ones I've already associated don't show up here. That's why I deleted it, so that now I can select landscape in that position. But of course I want the mister to be selectable, viewable from the pool, so I will go back and I will add at the end that air mister. And now we can see that that's how I've created the order of the auxiliaries that will be viewed at the first and second level of this widget. So if we go back for just a second, now I've made two changes. I have changed the order, so now we're seeing the pool, and I've also made the change of the order of the auxiliaries, so we can see the landscape is showing up there. Those changes have been put into effect. Now let's just real quickly though dive back into that edit mode and look at the third option, which is the dashboard. I promised before I would show you how to make the air temperature and the set point controls visible. So this is the point. These are both selected, and so they are both viewable at the dashboard level. This concludes our overview of the Vantage Equinox Pool and Spa widget. If you're a Vantage integrator, be sure to also watch our implementation guide for this widget. And don't forget to like us on Twitter and Facebook in order to receive updates. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.